She got fined for both being coached and also for racket abuse and then for the verbal abuse.
Exactly.
I think it's outrageous, though, because the first thing I did when I saw this was go and look for comparables. And you see comparable male tennis players doing exactly the same thing, losing their rag, not being respectful to them, but not ever being fined and certainly never being docked.
That's simply not true.
Not docked a game.
But male tennis players have been fined for far less than that.
Docked a game?
That, I don't know about that.
No.
The fact is, that was a disgraceful abuse of the umpire. If that had happened on a football field, the player would have been sent off.
Are you joking?
No, that isn't true. I've seen footballers shout at umpires.
Of course, if a footballer did that and called effectively the referee a cheat and a liar, the player would be sent off automatically.
Now, perhaps they'd have had a yellow card.
No, they wouldn't. I think that was one of the most disgusting scenes I've seen on the tennis court. We like to think of tennis as a sort of genteel
I thought it was
sport,
glorious to see a person at the top of the game so passionate that they're willing...
I'm sorry, if you think that behaviour is glorious, that is a really weird standard.
When Ilyas Nastase did it, when John McEnroe did it, when Djokovic is swearing in Serbian, that's fine.
So here's
the double standard is so...
I mentioned...
What happened? Did anything happen to...
It's not fine.
Were they docked again?
I don't know the example that you're
I mentioned Billie Jean King. This is another interesting point of difference. She says, here's the thing. When a woman is emotional, she's described as hysterical and she's penalised. When a man is emotional, he's described as outspoken. So the idea, you say, Serena went on a rant, as if she's gone out of control. But
she was out of control.
Serena is glorious. And she's something to be admired.
Well, fine, as a tennis player, I totally agree with you. But she was out of control.
But you can still criticise Serena.
We've all done it. We all recognise
Not when you see the comparables.
Wrong.
Just get the context and then judge.
It's so clearly a double standard. If you're going to come, with the greatest respect to you, if you're going to come and say her behaviour is appalling and the punishment fits the crime, there should be, through the history of tennis, legion examples of the same thing. She didn't behave. No one's saying that's great behaviour. Wouldn't you put your Wayne in front of the telly and go, act like that, your child in front of the telly and say, act like that? But equally, forgive me, what people that haven't suffered racism and sexism don't fully understand is white entitled men are the first to tell us how we feel and the first to tell us we are oversensitive, having had no great first-person experience of what we go through. And I can see in her eyes, and it isn't ideal, but you can see Serena's carrying a lifetime of those little flashbacks. It's not helpful.
Come on.
It's not helpful. It's not good.
This was the final of the US Open, one of the biggest tennis championships in the world, and probably has a higher TV audience than any other tennis tournament. And she needs to set an example in that. She was at fault. She was penalised because she was at fault. It was got nothing to do with her being black or a woman. She did wrong, so therefore the umpire called her out on it.
Storm, you got something else?
Yeah, just a lovely message here from Richard I'd like to get the opportunity to read. So Richard says, to her credit, she is a brilliant sportswoman, arguably one of the best players ever, and she doesn't normally end up screaming at anyone. One bad day doesn't and shouldn't get in the way of an otherwise excellent career.